Jason, JTL, Painfully Honest Tech here, and I just wanted to come in and give a quick thoughts and impressions video about the new Notes, not Note 7, Note 8, and a little bit about the launch event that I was able to catch a good bit of here just a little bit ago. Um, I think everybody's been a little anticipating the launch of the Note 8. Everybody's been making Note 7 jokes, explosions, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I'm not here to do any of that. I just want to talk a little bit about what the phone is going to be like and what we can expect and when we can expect it. So today was their big launch day. Somehow I was in the running to be invited to the launch day thing. I didn't know I was until I got a message that said I wasn't going to be there. But basically, they unveiled the phone. They went through a bunch of the new features, a bunch of the new stuff. And for the most part, I'm going to say that the Note 8 is like a Galaxy S8 Plus with 0.1 inches more screen and the S Pen. And all the things that S Pens bring. I've been a big fan of the Note series. I mean, I had the Note 1, 2, 3, 4, skipped the 5, and got the 7 twice, and I had to give it back. So I've been a big Note fan, and if there's anything that's going to take me away from an iPhone, it might be the Note line of the Samsung phones. So I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of the specs, a quick little bit of my thoughts about what they're trying to do with it, and that'll be it. So first, let's take a look at the specs here. We've got 6.3-inch Quad HD display, Super AMOLED as always. We get the Snapdragon 835 here in the United States. 64 gigs as an option only in the US with microSD card expansion. I think that's probably up to 2 gigabytes. That's what it's usually been, but I can't say for sure. It doesn't say here. Let's see, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and this is the first time that I've seen 6 gigabytes of RAM in a flagship phone like this from a big company like Samsung. I think they've had this much RAM in other markets, but this is the first time we get 6 gigs of RAM in a Galaxy line phone. The S8 and S8 Plus have 4 gigs. So let's see what that's all about. And I think one of the big news here was the dual cameras on the back. They're both 12 megapixel cameras. They both have optical image stabilization. One is a telephoto and one is a wide angle f-stops 1.7 and 2.4. So that's pretty cool. And an 8 megapixel front camera, 1.7 aperture. So that's going to be good as well. The battery, 3,300 milliamp hours. It's not the most milliamp hours we've ever seen in a battery, but there's wireless charging. There's, I mean, all kinds of different ways to charge up your phone. I think that Samsung has quite smartly been just making sure that their shit doesn't explode anymore. And that's probably a good way to go. So good for them. They're going 3,300 milliamps should be close to an all-day phone on a day of regular, some sort of moderate use. We'll see. We'll have to see. I mean, some other specs that are coming out: 7.1.1 version of Android, which I assume will go up to Android O whenever that becomes widely available, and whenever Samsung gets around to actually putting it out for their users. There's water and dust resistance, IP68, so that's something that everybody seems to care a lot about. It doesn't make a huge difference to me, but it's there. Samsung Pay, Type-C connection, headphone jack. They still got the headphone jack, and I have to say I really appreciate that they do, because I think losing the headphone jack is a huge mistake. We've talked about this before. This Bluetooth 5.0, which I still haven't really seen the ability to use the additional features that 5.0 brings us, but maybe it's coming in, and so it's got all the Wi-Fi bands, it's got all the LTE, blah, 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 blah. Let me talk about some things that I'm kind of excited about. Well, one thing I'm not excited about is the price is going to be about $960. Still not the same as an iPhone 7 Plus with 256 gigs of RAM. I think that's still over $1,000, but 960 or $970, depending on your carrier, is a lot of money to output for a phone. And at this point, I mean, with phones being on a yearly cycle, when we spend $1,000 on a computer, we don't expect to turn around next year and spend another $1,000 on a computer, right? So the the phone market is inflated just through sheer marketing. The phones are not getting noticeably better or more feature rich in the way that they had in the past, and so I think that there has to be a slowdown at some point, but we haven't reached that point. We have reached the point of peak phone, where there's not really going to be any great strides made, and it's all going to be cosmetic, and there's all going to be little things within the operating systems and the phones themselves that are going to make changes. But $960 is a lot of money. Now, there are some pre-order specials where you can get a 360 camera, or you can get a charging dock and a 128 gigabyte card. I think I'm going to go for that. I am going to pick this phone up, and there's only one reason why I'm going to do that. Samsung has done something that not many companies would do. Okay, so the Note 7 was a total disaster. We all know that. It had to have really crushed Samsung as a company. They had a huge opportunity to take over a lot of the market share from Apple, and with the Note 7 dying, they couldn't do it. But what they've done for folks who did buy the Note 7 and have to then return it, etc., etc., they're giving a $425 credit with the trade-in of another phone toward the Note 8. So that makes that $950, $960, $970 a little bit easier to swallow. In fact, that if I sell my iPhone and pay that off, that might actually like shrink my phone bill a little bit. So that's pretty good. I'm glad to see them sort of standing by their whole ethos of supporting the customers, especially in the light of this Note 7 thing. So I'm really, really glad that they did that. Two colors in the United States. We get black, and we get, well, they call it gray, but it looked more silver to me. I don't have any. I have this picture that you're seeing right here. And so that's okay. Bixby is still around. Supposedly, Bixby's features are becoming more and more ingrained in the phone, more and more able to do things. I saw one thing where you can do quick commands, where the guy demonstrated that he likes to take pictures of his phone. So he set up a quick command where he said "food photo," and Bixby opened up the camera, took a picture, saved it, and moved it into this guy's food photos folder in his camera. So in the camera app, or the photos, or whatever. So I mean, I never used Bixby when I had the Note 8 or the S8 Plus. Not probably, but it seems like they're trying to get it to work better. I think the battle for best voice command assistant is still wide open. Siri still sucks. Google Assistant is a little bit better at times, but I still don't find myself using them on a regular basis. And so maybe Bixby has a shot at being more feature rich, since it's stuck into one ecosystem, much like Siri is. I'm hoping that Apple, well, I mean, we got iOS 11 coming out, and Siri's features aren't really all that much improved. So we'll see how that goes. That's basically the rundown of the Note 8 and its launch event. You guys let me know what you think. Did you watch any of it? Have you seen any of the stuff about the features? Are you going to go out and buy it? Are you afraid it'll explode in your pocket? I am going to pick it up, and I'm only going to pick it up because of the $425 credit that I can get for having purchased the Note 7. So I think that's pretty good. They've tried to do a lot of things to enrich this phone, but much like Samsung always does, it feels like they're throwing the kitchen sink into the operating system, and some of this stuff might be good, but it's sort of overwhelming when you have to train yourself to use all this other stuff that no other phone has, and it's just too much. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Really appreciate you watching. This has been just a quick video talking about this Note 8 launch. Thanks for being here. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This has been Painfully Honest Tech, and until the next time, I'm out.